Hello everyone. Yeah, this video is about smart heating control, and I've got an old Hive system. I was quite an early adopter because I like that sort of thing, and it was kind of unreliable at first, but I got one of these old Hive systems you can see on the screen now. It's not like the new one with all the flashy controls. It's not like the Hive mini system. It's the original British Gas Hive, which they came and installed for you for about 200 quid, I think it was. Anyway, so I had one installed, and then 6 months ago I started getting these emails saying about your Hive system is going to be obsolete. You need to upgrade. It's going to stop working, and it carried on working and carried on working, and this impending deadline didn't come up. And I thought, well, perhaps it's going to carry on working. Anyway, I changed my phone from a Huawei to a Samsung, loaded the Hive app, and sure enough, I couldn't log into the controller. It said it wasn't going to be obsolete, but funny enough, the old Huawei phone still worked and the Hive still worked, but it was the app that had gone obsolete. And with Google phones, it usually just updates on its own. So one day you just found, had I had a new phone with a Google supported operating system, because Google don't support the Android in Huawei phones, how are we? I don't know what they're called. Anyway, it stopped working. So now I thought, okay, I'm going to be forced to buy a new system for smart control of my heating with my phone on the internet when I'm away from home. The sort of thing where you can switch all the heating on and off on your phone. And anyway, so I went online and I thought, I'm not going to buy another Hive because they'll only obsolete it again. I thought, why should I reward them for screwing me over, basically, because it still works with the old version of the app, and I'm sure they could have made it compatible, but no. So no more Hive for me. So I looked for an alternative, and I found this, and it was the Salus RT520RF, and the listing on Amazon was kind of vague, and I thought, well, that'll do. It's 57 quid. I'll buy one of those, but that's no bloody good. And I'll show you why in a minute. Alright, so that's that one. I'll go through this one and take it out of the box and have a look at it in case you're going to buy one or not buy one. My advice would be, well, make your own mind up, okay? And then I thought, okay, well, that's not what I want. I'm not going to buy it. I looked at Hive again. I thought, should I buy a Hive? I thought, no, Sodom. So anyway, then I've got this, which does everything a Hive will do, I think. It's Wi-Fi, it's RF, it's got all the necessary bits and pieces, I think. Only good if you've got a combi boiler. It only controls one channel, this thing, so it's got no hot water control on it, but it's got the heating control. Okay, now if you've got a combi boiler like we've got, then you don't need the heating hot water, because the hot water is just done on demand, managed by the boiler. Okay, so it's the I don't know what brand this one is. It's got Tuya on there, but I think Tuya is just the technology for the remote. But anyway, so we got one of those. We got this thing here, which we'll take a quick look at. It's a Salus RT520 RF, and by the RF I thought it wasn't clear, but I thought it had Amazon Alexa, Smart Life, Smart Home, Tuya type controls, and it hasn't. It's just got RF, refers to an 800 megahertz RF system which communicates between the control unit, which is this, which goes on the wall, LCD, not colour, program the timer, goes on your wall like so. That's not looking very white to me. I don't know what's going on with my picture. Right, anyway, so where were we? Yeah, so you've got LCD display and programming here, and this is linked to this unit in the bottom of the box, which is the bit that goes next to your boiler. So this bit communicates with that bit via an 800 megahertz license-free band. So Salus, and on this thing you've got, this goes on the wall next to your boiler. I'm not sure if that's the same spread of screw holes as a normal socket. Let's just check that. I'm guessing some of the electronic chappies will know the spacing on these holes, but I haven't got a clue. So I'll just measure one of the holes, zero it, and then measure between. This is a standard MK fused spur outlet. We've got 52 millimeters, 2 inches. Okay, so it's a 2-inch. Yeah, you didn't know that. Holes between your socket screws on your UK plugs is 2 inches. Centers are 2 inches. Yeah, that'll just about work. Look, it'll just about work. So this could be screwed on top of a normal socket faceplate. Clearly it's bigger, so it doesn't engage with it, but you could use that. And I think there's some screws in the box. Oh, there's some screws? No, there aren't. But it would fit on the front of the socket box, you know, if you had a box in the wall. And this is the mains power bit. So let's just have a look, see what the quality of electronics inside is like. Incidentally, I've tried this between my lounge and my cupboard where the boiler is, and the signal keeps dropping out. The 800 megahertz they've used is being absorbed by my house, so it's not very good. So you've got a bracket just hooks on there like that, so you're going to have to screw that onto your socket, and then poke your wires out, and then somehow work your wires in there and then feed them back into the box through that gap. It shouldn't be too onerous, should it? But best use multi-core, multi-stranded wire if you can, because it's going to be a bit stiff, but I don't think that's a major thing. You've got on and off, and I'm guessing that turns the power on and off to the whole thing. Auto and manual. Manual will just turn the heating on. So this is a one-channel heater control as well. It hasn't got the Hive's hot water capability, so we're talking about a combi boiler again. So let's go and have a look inside, see just what quality or standard of electronics we've got. So you've got live and neutral main supply here, normally open and common, so that's the switches for your boiler, and this is for a communications link, which is, it just says communications links in the manual, but I don't know what it's for. Presume there's some RS485 type communication built in as well. Let's have a look and see. Let's get our drawers off. Made in China, T45 IP30. People will believe that. Do you reckon that's IP30, boys? I don't. IP nightly. Come on. Let's have a look, see what's inside. Read them inside. So we've got the CE plastic markings. You can see that one there says PC recycling mark, so that's CE PC recycling mark, and then the mold indicator or the date stamp or something. So it's polycarbonate, so it's a good tough housing. It's nice and tough. Let's turn the brightness up on this fucking thing. It's right. There we go, it's a bit brighter. Yeah. Right, let's have a quick look at this controller. This is the part that goes up by your boiler. The wires come into there from through this hole here, and you can fix it onto a socket. We've established that, an ordinary UK single light switch or mains socket box, either flush or surface mount. So you can put your wires somewhere. You've got somewhere to put your wires behind and a void behind. So this would normally kind of stand off the wall if you haven't got a socket box to put it in. All right, but I'm sure you can sort the wiring out. Let's have a quick look at the electronics. Right, so in this area, what have we got? We have, okay, so turn it around that way. You get dizzy yet? Live and neutral come in here. That's the main supply, the permanent on main supply. This thing is powered up 24/7. If anything comes down the mains, like a mains dip, power surge or lightning strike, then this is going to get the full brunt of it, because it will be switched on. Down this trace here, straight onto a 471k varistor. That's a 275 volt AC working varistor. The voltage goes above 275 volts RMS, or 415 peak, is it? Or 450 peak? 450 probably. this will start to conduct, and then if the surge continues, this will start to smoke, and then if the surge continues further, this will start to go up like a little firework. It's a very small one, so it's really only for the lightest of surge. You can see this track is pretty thin, and if you've got normal Her Majesty's mains on the end of that and this goes short, when this flares up, this track will probably get hot and delaminate from the board. Now you can notice, if you notice that, there's the common there, neutral. Sorry, the live goes, where does the live go? Let's take it out of the case. I've just had this switched on, so I'll be a bit careful, it might still be charged up. There's the live. Live comes down here, along here, to there, which is the end of this 10 ohm resistor. Now, do you notice there's no fuse in here? Normally you would expect, focusing thing. Are you going to focus? Thank you. You'd expect a fuse, wouldn't you? I'd like to see a fuse. This may be a fusible resistor. These are resistors that when they get hot and you overload them, they've got some volatile material inside underneath the lacquer, and it turns it into gas, it sublimes and blows the ceramic coating off, and with it breaks the wires, so they kind of go crack and go open circuit. So it's a fusible resistor, but not great if you've got a very large voltage. And their breaking capacity is not good. It's all right for mains, but if you've got a larger voltage, and you can get arcing around the wires, you just get a crack and a little puff of smoke and it's open circuit. But generally they're okay. You often find these in washing machine controllers and light switches and other things which are low cost throwaway items, and Bourne's are the best manufacturer of fusible resistors. I haven't found any Chinese company that make them yet. I dare say, if you do know of them, put it in the comments, because I find it useful, because the Bourne's ones are quite expensive, but they are very good. So if you see one of these blown open circuit, don't change it for a normal wire wound, because it will go up in smoke rather than blow itself open circuit, because a normal wire wound one hasn't got the explodey characteristic. Now we've got a half-wave diode, just a half-wave rectification, which is fine. We've got a size of that cap, 400 volt, 4.7 microfarad caps on capacitor. Now caps on, if you look on the internet, they've got terrible reputations, and I have been looking after air source heat pump radiators, and in the radiator there is a controller very similar to this, with a very similar power supply, with very similar components, and there's 4 of these, roughly on average 4 on each flat, and in the block of 7 flats, I think 20 of them have failed in the last 8 years. The flats were built 8 years ago, and it's all to do with these caps. Now if you wanted to be sure that you didn't want any trouble from this, then if I was going to deploy this thing, which I'm not, I'm sending it back, but if I was going to deploy it, I would change those for Nippon Chemicon or some other quality brand rather than Capson, because they haven't got a good reputation. They are vented, but they just go open circuit and or short circuit and blow, and then everything starts flashing, and when the relay cuts in, there's not enough power. There's all sorts of stuff goes on. We've got on this one, we've got you can't see that, can you? On the top of that relay, it says it says 18 amps, 16 amps to 50 volts. So really this is going to do underfloor heating or a single channel boiler control. So on the secondary we've got a nice transformer, actually, a proper transformer, probably proper offline, so that the DC side of this is isolated from mains via, and here's the 2 kV spark barrier, so if you get any condensation on the board you won't get tracking across from this part of the circuit, which is all high voltage, to this part of the circuit, which is low voltage. Strangely enough though, this is high voltage and that's low voltage, but they haven't put this slot up there for obvious reasons. So this is all low voltage DC regulation and so on, and then there's a couple of reservoir capacitors on this side, 1000 microfarad 10 volt, another 1000 microfarad 10 volt, and it's a 5 volt DC relay. Okay, so nothing in principle wrong with that power supply. 2 things I'd like to see, 3. One would be a decent, or decent quality capacitors, a decent brand. I don't trust these. They may be good, but in my experience, they last. If you look at the data sheet for these, the lifetime would be 2,000 hours. You can work that out. That, admittedly, that's at the rated voltage and the rated current and the rated temperature. So they'll last longer than 2,000, but they haven't got great longevity, these components, and they are the weak spot in most circuits, as most of you probably already know. I'd like to see a bigger voltage dependent, bigger VDR in there, bigger suppressor. That's very small. That will go off like a little firework, even with someone a nat farts on the power line. Like a fuse rather than a fusible resistor. Maybe that is a fusible resistor, but they should make that labelled FR1. So if some schoolboy engineer comes along and changes it for a straightforward 10 ohm wire wound, then the next time this happens, that would go up, and maybe a possibility of a fire. Certainly a red hot resistor, and not the desired fusing. So if it is a fusible resistor, always put FR1, fusible resistor 1, rather than just R1, please. And yeah, I'd like to see a 220 nanofarad or so filter capacitor, polyester X rated capacitor, self-healing mains filter capacitor to filter noise coming in and stop the switch mode noise going out down power lines, radiated from the power lines. So some kind of rudimentary filter in here. And the other thing I would like to see, what would I like to see? Yeah, so that's about it really. Better quality. On the back we've got, what have we got? Anyway, we've got the relay and the flooded copper tracks to increase the current carrying capacity of these tracks, but still onto 2 small pins. But they look reasonably well soldered, I think. And then you've got your 800 megahertz receiver with the microprocessor under there, and that's the antenna going up around there. And this, I tried it, and between my lounge, where the battery powered thermostat is and programmer, and my cupboard where the boiler is, which is probably in a direct line, it's probably 20 meters away through the building. Though if you drilled a hole through the building, a diagonal upward angle, it'd be about 20 meters long. But the 800 megahertz, which is what this is working at, is absorbed more by the building than the old 433 type megahertz unlicensed band. So this doesn't work in my house. It keeps dropping off and on and off line, and I know it's that because I've taken this and put this at the bottom of the stairs, and it stays online and works. So I couldn't use this if I wanted to, right? So that's that. So I don't think there's much more we can say about that, except it's a nice fiberglass UL approved board. You see the UL underwriters laboratory mark, so it's flame proof, self-extinguishing glass fibre. These are little side switches which I don't think are very reliable. Look, you see them, they little thing on the bottom of the button, little hole on it, look, down there, that slots onto the buttons like that. I can get it on there, bloody thing. So yeah, not really worth 57 quid. Probably on the value for money VFM scale, it's probably the same as the Hive, but I can show you what the Hive should cost. Rather than the 130, 140 quid, should cost more like the cost of this alternative unit, which I'm going to use, I hope. Now this, I did buy it on AliExpress, but I did pay VAT, and the shipping was included. And this other one, let's put those screws over there, so I better put that back together before I send it back. Right then, so I suppose this is this thing is equivalent to the Hive Mini or whatever it is, a single channel right then, so this thing is equivalent to the Hive Mini control, the one that does a single channel combi boiler, so it's for your heating at room temperature, but not for your hot water. Okay. But if you've got a hot water switch, you can fit any Tuya or any smart switch on the boiler and turn your hot water on and off via smart home or whatever. But you know, with a combi boiler, you don't really need it. There's nothing you can do. You know, either the water's on or off, and when it's on, it's not on until you turn the tap on. So you don't need it. So this is equivalent to the 90 or 120 quid Hive one. This was £46, including VAT and shipping, from AliExpress, and it came in about 5 working days, actually. Just been delivered today. So now this one has got, for the less money, you've got a nice display panel, and battery powered. It's got Wi-Fi as well, and Bluetooth, which is strange. Not sure about that. And 433 megahertz, which is the more penetrating radio. It's a longer wavelengths. Longer wavelengths penetrate better through buildings. Everybody knows that. And I don't know why it's got a USB cable. Do you? Do you know why it's got a USB cable? One screw package. Let's have a look inside. Try and work out how it works. Do you know, we might end up reading the manual on this one. What have we got down there? Available in black or white, nice, and available in VA screen or TN screen. So VA is an ordinary black and white version, and TN is that one is twisted pneumatic. So one's got a light background which is blacked out by the LCD. The other one's got a completely black foreground, and the LCD twisted and reveals the light coming from underneath. I'm not sure which is best. I think that one looks sexier. That was on the advert. If we've got one of those, I'll be annoyed actually. But anyway, let's just see what we've got in here, and we'll have a look. Yeah, so you can go, Alexa, turn my heating on. Why can't Alexa say, when wife says, Alexa, turn heating to 22 degrees, why can't it say, sorry, husband has limited it to 18 degrees? That's the bloody thing I want. Instructions. Yep. Wall-hung boiler. A well-hung boiler. Right, so there's all the instructions. I will just put them on here, and you can have a little bit of a freeze frame if you feel like it, and a read. Hold on. So you know what you're getting. Let's turn that off, because that's causing... Oh no, it's not actually. What's going on here? Okay, so we'll zoom in a little bit more. Oh, zoom in a bit more. Alright, there's page 1 and 2. Page 3 and 4. There you go, freeze frame. Got that? And then 5 and 6. Usually professional technicians. Oh my god, I can't put it in myself. And this is the calibration. Calibration. And it says plus or minus 1 degree, which is good enough. My wife can tell. My wife's temperature detection is within about 0.1 degree. Turn the heating down again. He's psychic. Right. Okay, there we are. You can see all that is location, and then this, and then this. It's all about pairing. Okay, and there's the actual. That's an interesting diagram. Look, see. Now I don't know why the Hive has to plug in, has an extra box which has got a cable which goes into your router. The Hive professional system has got another box. It's got the box at the boiler, it's got the room thermostat, and there's another, they call it the hub, that sits and connects to your router via a cable. Now I don't know why it needs to be a cable. Why can't it be Wi-Fi like this? So we've got Wi-Fi router. Then you've got the RF 433 megahertz, the RF receiver. That's the switch that goes on the boiler to turn, well, heating demand switch basically. and it's got a FSK 433 megahertz link, which is 20 channels, 10 kilohertz spacing, up to 20 milliwatts, is it? Yeah, the MPT 1432 standard anyway, and then RF to there, and this has got Wi-Fi in it. Okay, so this is the Wi-Fi end of the business, and that's probably why the batteries won't last that long. Might get 6 months out of this out of batteries or something. Anyway, let's go back to the manual. Wi-Fi setting, Wi-Fi only, which we've got Wi-Fi, I hope. I paid for bloody Wi-Fi. Now this 2.4 gigahertz thing is a bit of an anomaly actually, because I've seen quite a few of these Tuya and smart home switches and things. It says it must be connected to 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi, but I think mine's only 5 in my house, and it usually works, which I can't quite get my head around that actually, but we'll see, won't we, when we try it. Turn on heater, turn off heater, make the heater cooler in here, make the warm, yeah, blah 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 blah. Google Assistant as well, and they call it the heater. So rather than heater, heating, it's heater. I don't know whether you can change that, because that's kind of, you know, it's a bit Chinese, isn't it? We like to say heating, don't we? The heater is a device name. You can also name it yourself. Okay, so I want to call it the money burner. Turn the money burner on, please. Right, okay. Lovely. And let's have a look at this. So this is the little thermostat. How's that come out of the bag? There she blows. Oh, then that feels instantly, that feels a nice quality thing actually. It's all shiny. Lovely shiny laser printed RF boiler thermostat. Open battery cover. So the battery cover is behind there. So this can be stuck on the wall with these screws. Have we got R2 each spacing again? Yes, we have. So we can put that on top of a wall, sunken wall box, or on top of a surface mount box. So yeah, so that's the open battery cover. Also, we've got this little flip out big leggy, so you can actually, if you want to, even if you don't want to, you can take it around with you. So I'm going off to my sewing room, and you can take it with you and have local control. Although it's all a bit odd, a bit anomaly, isn't it? Sort of controlling the temperature of one room when all the radiators in the house are switched on is a bit of an anomaly. Or you can just hide it in the airing cupboard so it's nice and warm so the wife can't find it. Master plan, eh? So yeah, we've got a push button, swivel. This looks like the twisted pneumatic display to me. I'm not sure at the moment. I shall put some batteries in it and we'll have a look, shall we? Open battery cover. So looks like to me that they're saying that you just put a screwdriver in there and give it a bit of a hook. Yeah, it does. Well, you've got to do top and bottom, look. Otherwise it'll break. That's a bit bad, isn't it? So you've got to really remember that if this is on the wall, if that's screwed on the wall like that, you've got to get something down the back of there. You can imagine, top and bottom, to get it off without breaking it. It feels pretty tough. You can double kick the power key to disable night mode, whatever that means. You can see that. There's the backlight. I suppose to turn the backlight on, but with the backlight on beyond, because the battery would go flat, wouldn't it? Backlight control off, night mode. Enable night mode. In USB power mode. Okay, so if you plug this in, that's what the USB cable's for in the box, isn't it? Because I said, what's that for? You can go for USB power mode. Plug it in the side of this socket here. There's a USB socket, look. And then if you do that, you can have the display on all the time. A bit like one of those power monitors. It's a reasonable length cable actually, not bad at all, and it's USB-C, which is nice. Jolly nice. Look, quite like that. It's a nice feature. Shan't be doing that, but anyway, if the battery, it's a shame it doesn't charge. You know, you could put nickel metal hydride batteries in here and have it charging. The batteries would be nice, wouldn't it? So you can not them to keep by batteries. And I think at one stage this had some batteries in the box, but I think I've lost them. Here we go. Open in the batteries. Ooh. Alright. So it's a bit dim. Oh, did you see that? There you go. So yeah, it's not bad, but it ain't brilliant neither. I'd say the viewing angle's pretty good. Yeah, if you're down below it, it's the viewing angle. If you're viewing at that sort of angle downwards, it's not very good. But yeah, there you go. So can you hear that beeping noise? I don't know if you can hear it. It's a Bluetooth thing there as well, which is surprising. Do you know what? I'm going to have to read the manual, aren't I? Off it says. So let's it's a nice feeling, nice quality thing, you know. It's nicely moulded actually. I quite like it. Quite like the feel and the shape of it, and it's a nice button. And you press the button, and you've got the. Let's get the other bit out. My light's going back on. Focus, you focusing thing. There we go. So the display is alright, acceptable. I'd like it a bit brighter, but I understand why it isn't, because it's only battery powered. I wonder if it's brighter if you put it on USB power. I bet it is. We'll try it. Okay, so we've got the. This is the part that goes with the boiler. You've got a link to say that I am linked, and then you've got a force heating on-off button. Heating, force heating. Heating, force heating. I'm guessing one is heating by demand from the thermostat, and the other one is like turn the bloody heating on, regardless of what the thermostat's telling you. Not sure. I'm not going to show anyone about this button. And you've got this zigzag. It's a nice plastic clear fascia on it, so it's actually quite nice nick. You know, it's a one of those clear overlaid plastic back printed thing, reverse printed. And I think you get this off. How do you get this off? Oh, I know how you get it off. It's just clipped on, look. I think. Yeah, it's just clipped in there. Oh, there you go. So you can knock this piece out at the back. Like, look at that. It's blue. It's got a blue board. Right. What have we got here? What have we got? What have we got here? Neutral 1, live, live, neutral, neutral. Sort of plastic screen here, look. Don't know why that's there. Obviously stop you poking any of the components in the radio. It's got one of those Texas 433 megahertz radio. That's the antenna there. Very tried and tested and very reliable. These UHF pairing radio bands, FSK. So you've got a button there. You long press for factory reset. Short press for RF pairing. So if you're pairing to a new controller or it's lost pairing, you have to go through the pairing procedure. Hopefully we won't have to do this. And then we've got, oh I see, so they've laser marked it on here. That's nice. Common, open, close. So normally open contacts, normally closed contacts, and the common contact, that's for your boiler connection to turn the heating on and off or demand heat from the boiler. And this is just neutral, live in and out, neutral, live in and out. Neutral 1, I'm guessing those two are just shorted together. Is that left out of there? No, that's actually screwed in, isn't it? I'm not going to bother taking that out. We've got a spring to, that's the touch spring. It goes up behind, just behind here. So the proximity switch, touch switch. We've got a relay, which is 16 amp. It's quite a small relay for a 16 amp relay. And then you've got your power supply again. You've got your power supply again, the same as the other one, virtually the same as the other one. It's got exactly the same chip in it. Different one, but more or less the same. Another copy of the LNK 302 switch mode power supply chips. You've got something here that's called R49 in a piece of sleeving, look. Now that could be a fusible resistor. I'm not sure. I think that might be a fuse, you know, because you've got another 10 ohm resistor here. You've got another component in series with the power. So I think that's a fuse, and they've called it R49. It might be a fusible resistor, so there is a fuse. And you've got the same sort of capacitors. These are 3.3. Not sure what they are actually. Let's get the other glasses on. Oh, for fuck's sake. Yeah, so these are 3.3 microfarad, 400 volts, and the manufacturer is you see that? Manufacturer is Yuxin. Yuxin. Again, don't know them. Might be reliable, might not. They're 105 degrees rated one. Again, unknown. Usually a major cause of failure, but you never know. We don't have any transorb in here. We don't have any voltage dependent resistors like the 431K varistors at all. Got none of that, but we have got a nice transformer and an isolated power supply. So it looks alright. We've got a peeper in this one, which I can hardly hear. And yeah, all in all, I think pretty good actually. Should we put some mains on it and see? Okay, so you can't see the display. I'm in Smart Life, you can see the screen here. If I just go into heating, it's very easy to add it to Smart Life. Make sure that you buy the Wi-Fi one. For a horrible 2 or 3 minutes I thought I'd bought the one without the Wi-Fi on. It said optional and I couldn't activate it, so I had to refer to the instructions. In the off condition, you press and hold the power button, then you get this snake going around the screen, and then add device on Smart Life and you're away. And you can see it's called heating. I just hit that. You can see, and you can see I can turn this up and down manually. You can see the link coming on. You can put it on auto as well, so the auto is asking for 22 degrees. If I then go in and turn it down, it turns it off, so you can change the auto setting. That's good. You go manual. You can turn the child lock on and off. You can see that changing on the screen. Can you see that? And the nice thing is when you do this, it does that. It actually echoes. It repeats on the screen about what you're doing. So when I hear the wife go across the room and turn the heating up, then she goes back across the room and sits down, and after a few seconds presumably the display will go out after it's been set to 30 degrees. Yeah, okay, so then I turn it down and it lights up again. So I'm gonna have to put it where she can't see it, otherwise she'll get up and stand up and we'll have a thermostat wars as usual. Child lock can be turned off. Advanced settings, you've got temperature scales, degrees C, frost protection, which is nice. The programming, which is very easy on here, including the nooning setting. Can you see that? It's a new one I'm going to use, nooning. I'm just nooning, that's fine. And then you've got the backlight setting. You can turn the backlight on, and you can have you can turn the backlight up to full brightness if you want to run on USB. Clearly on battery, it will run the battery flat in no time at all. And then you've got timing for the backlight for night mode, and it's just very dim on night mode. It's down there, you can't see it, but if I turn the lights off I can see it quite clearly once my eyes have adjusted somewhat. Okay, so all in all, I think it's the pesky thing about it is I think it's good. I think it's a good alternative to the Hive. The only thing I haven't been able to find on here is a boost control to boost the heating for half an hour to 25 degrees or something, just to take the chill off. I find the boost on Hive is quite good because you can you know, just hit the button and then warm up a bit, and then you start moving around and the chill's taken off the house and the heating isn't churning away until the until the next cycle of the auto schedule comes around, or you remember to turn it down. But all in all, I think pretty good. And if I hit this off button at the bottom of the screen, that just turns everything off. Okay, so I turn it on. We're back in business. Yeah, I like it. I think for 45 quid, it's a good cheap alternative to the Hive. I like the boost. I don't like the lack of boost. And if you go here and go smart, is it smart or scene? Create a scene. Tap to run. Weather when change location schedule. When device status changes, no. Change alarm mode when alarm triggered, no. When weather changes, a schedule. Oh, I see. So that's, you can't do that. So you can go tap to run, add control single device, put the heating, temperature scale, set temperature ceiling. I'm not sure what that's about. Oh yeah, you've got the maximum temperature ceiling you can set as well, which is nice. So you can, they can't set the thermostat above 23, which I don't think the Hive has got. Set temperature to say 24. Ooh, cool. Set temperature for 857. No, set it to 25 degrees. Save. Say. Temperature scale, flooring, working day setting, cancel, no, so you can't. Okay, so I can go next, tap to run, launch tap to run, then set heating, more settings. Can you do a time delay in this, does anyone know? Done. More settings. Execute with the cloud show style. No. Done. Then add another. Select smart scenes. Control single device. Delay the action. Oh, you can. Look. 1 hour. I'll just set it. I just set it. Oh, I see. Hey, you can do 30 minutes, alright. So then you can have 30 minutes, next, and then another one, control single device, heating, then you can go set temperature, back down to 12 or whatever you want it to be after the boost that you've instigated, save. And next, save, and we'll call it heating boost 30 minutes or boost heating. Confirm. Hey, look at that, I've done it. That one isn't work. The first one was a complete pants, so I'll knock that one off. I've been messing about with this for a while. I know that's the correct one, the 3 task one. This is the wrong, that's the wrong one. How'd you cancel? How'd you get rid of it? I'll work that offline. Yeah, so heating boost, you can just go like that. Actually, that's there you go. It's done it. Then it'll wait half an hour, and then turn it off again. So you can program in your own custom boosts, which is nice. Very nice indeed. Anyway, thanks for watching. You can see the little titty button down the bottom of the screen there. If you could just hit that. But I think this is a good alternative. I'm happy with it, actually. It enables me to do all sorts of weird, wonderful things. Alexa and Google Home and all that works with it. So, yeah, nice thing. I might change the capacitors before I put it in, put some Nippon Chemicon caps in it to make it reliable, because I don't think those caps will last very long. And I might put a filter capacitor and a bigger varistor in there to protect it from main surges. We do tend to get a lot of main surges, especially with me in the house. Yeah, good piece of kit, like it. 45 quid, AliExpress, job done. Thanks for watching.